a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. All together. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. We should go a little faster. You gotta laugh a little, cry a little, and let the clouds roll by a little, because that's the story of, that's the glory of love. As long as that's the name I had yesterday, too, when I saw you yesterday. My parents gave me that name a long time ago. It's been working well. I'm going to stick with it. What do you think? You want to start? Yeah. I got the first song for you. First of all, I want to say, well, thank you for inviting me over again. I love coming over to Brightview, Concord River. You're my best friends in the whole world. And I think I have some wonderful songs I think everybody will know the words to. You gotta give a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. All together. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. We should go a little faster. You gotta laugh a little, cry a little, and let the clouds roll by a little, because that's the story of, that's the glory of love. As long as there's the two of us, we got the world and all its charms. And when the world is through with us, we got each other's arms. You gotta win a little and lose a little, sometimes have the blues a little, but that's the story of, that's the glory of love. Oh, that's the glory of love. That's the glory of love. I want to do a song by a guy. He was a wonderful band leader from the 1940s. I hope everybody remembers his name. His name is Duke Ellington. From the 1940s. He wrote wonderful instrumental songs. They were on the radio for several years. People go, bum, 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 no words. And then guess who put some words to it? A singing group called the Ink Spots. They put all kinds of words to the instrumental songs. Here's one of the first ones they did. Duke Ellington with the Ink Spots. I never cared much for moonlit skies. I never winked back at fireflies. But now that the stars are in your eyes, I'm beginning to see the lights. Oh, I never went in for afterglow or candlelight on the mistletoe. But now when you turn the lamp down low, I'm beginning to see the lights. I used to ramble through the park, shadow boxing in the dark. Then you came and caused a spark. It's a 4-alarm fire now. I never went in for lantern shine. I never saw rainbows in my wine. But now that your lips are burning mine, I'm beginning to see the lights. I'm beginning to see. I'm beginning to see the lights. His name was Duke Ellington, with words by the Ink Spots. Now for our last little song in our 3-song medley, I want to remind everybody of a radio show that was on many years ago. I hope you remember. It was called The Hit Parade. Do you remember the Hit Parade radio show? They started back in 1942, and I just happen to know the first. You're still the Hit Parade. You love it. Yeah, and 1942, the announcer came on. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in on the Hit Parade radio show. Our first episode, we already have a winner. We have the winning song, and this was the #1 song in 1942. They still sing it today. It goes like this. It had to be you. It had to be sing it together. Could make me true, could make me feel blue, and even be glad just to be sad, thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be mean, they might never be cross or try to be boss, but that wouldn't do. Now we gotta swing it. But nobody else gave me a thrill with all of your faults. I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you. I can't believe you weren't with us yesterday. I'm glad you're here today. It had to be you, wonderful you. This is from 1942. It had to be you. That rhymes. It had to be you. Guess what time it is? Oh, you don't have to thank you so much. Guess what time it is, everybody? It's time for the cha-chas. We love the cha-chas on a Sunday. The sun is coming up. And we get to go 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. I got a couple of cha-chas I think you're going to like. I found some cha-chas from the 1960s. We've been ignoring the 60s lately, and it's time to pay tribute to the wonderful 1960s with 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. You know, the cha-cha is the best. It's not too fast, it's not too slow, but it's got a lot of energy. It's got a lot of pizzazz. You know what pizzazz is? Like the cha-cha. 2, cha-cha-cha. Oh, there's a kind of hush all over the world tonight. All over the world you can hear the sound of lovers in love. You know what I mean, just the two of us and nobody else in sight. There's nobody else. Well, I'm feeling good, just holding you tight. So listen very carefully, get closer now and you will see what I mean. Oh, it isn't a dream. Yes, the only sound that you will hear is when I whisper in your ear, I love you forever and ever. There's a kind of hush all over the world tonight. All over the world, people just like us, they're falling in love. They're falling in love. They're falling in love. 1962. More than the greatest the world has known. This is the love I give to you and you alone. More than the simple words I try to say. I only live to love you more each day. I know I never lived before, and my heart is very sure no one else could love you more. More, 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 more. How do you like the cha-cha? It's pretty nice. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. I was going to try to do the cha-cha today for everybody, but I shouldn't. I tried to do the cha-cha last time, remember? I almost fell on my nose. And they said, Brad, don't do the cha-chas. You're going to break the floor with your big nose. So I'll just play a couple more cha-chas. Tell me if you remember a TV show that was on a long time ago called The Ed Sullivan Show. 1964. He called up some kids over in England. And he said, you want to come on my show, the Ed Sullivan Show? They said, sure. Their name were the Beatles. And the Beatles came on the Ed Sullivan Show, and they sang 5 songs and took the world by storm. We still hear beautiful Beatles songs. 4 of the 5 songs they did on the Ed Sullivan Show were beautiful songs that they wrote. And then one song was a song that they didn't write. They took it from a Broadway play called Music Man. And this was a beautiful song that the Beatles didn't write, but it's still a beautiful song. It goes like this. There were bells on a hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all, till there was you. Oh, everybody knows this. And there were birds in the sky, but we never saw them winging. No, we never saw them at all, till there was you. And there was music and wonderful roses, how they tell me of sweet, fragrant meadows of you, of you. There was love all around, but I never heard it sing. No, I never heard it at all, till there was you. Oh, till there was you. Till there was you and you and you and... You remember a guy, he was a famous singer a long time ago, and his name is Frank Sinatra. Yay. Of course, everybody, yeah, we've only heard of him 1,000 times. He was wonderful. He had some nice songs, and they make nice cha-chas too. How about this? Remember, I got you under my skin. Oh, I have got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in the heart that you're really a part of me. Yes, I've got you under my skin. Frank Sinatra, the wonderful. Want to make a lot of money? I'm going to ask the first quiz question today. They used to have a show on TV a long time ago called the $64,000 question. Did you ever watch it? If you answered all the questions correctly, you would have a chance at winning $64,000. So here you go. Put your thinking caps on. For $64,000, Frank Sinatra, he had a nickname for many years. His friends and everybody called him the chairman of the board. The chairman of the board. I have to pay everybody $64,000. How did that happen? I've got you under my skin. Maybe I can make my money back. He had another nickname too.
Did he also have a nickname, Old Blue Eyes?
Oh, Blue Eyes, you just won another $64,000. This is crazy. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, please be true. Yes, in other words, baby, I love you. Baby, I love you. Sometimes if Frank Sinatra forgot the words to the song, you know what he'd say? Doobie, doobie, doobie. Baby, I love you. Well, I think that's enough cha-chas because we have so many songs. I got to take everybody on a walk down memory lane. Then we have to do a country and western song so we can all yell out, yee-haw. We got to do the best polka in the whole world called Roll Out the Barrel. So this will be this will be a Las Vegas ending. Frank Sinatra. Oh, baby, I love you. Cha-cha-cha. We always used to say cha-cha-cha at the end, yeah. Well, thank you, everybody, for inviting me over. My name is Brad, and it's a pleasure to be here and have another Sunday party. Love coming over to see you. 4.5, almost 5 years. Almost 5 years I've known you now, and it just gets better every time. You're the best friends anybody could have. In fact, I want to take you on. Here's my gift from me to you. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Would you come with me? I don't want to talk anymore about Frank Sinatra for a little while. Why don't we talk about a lovely girl, a lovely lady who sang a beautiful song back in the days of the hit parade That's a pretty good way to start a trip down memory lane. It goes like this. Gonna take a sentimental journey. I'm gonna set my heart at ease. We know that song. Oh, yeah. And then she sang it. She had a big orchestra right behind her called Les Brown and his band of Renine. Do I have to pay you another $64,000? This is going crazy. But do you remember her name? The wonderful Doris Day. It was Doris Day, and that's how we start our... I'm going to take a sentimental journey. I'm going to set my heart at ease. I'm going to take one sentimental journey to renew old memories. I got my bag, I got my reservation. Spent each dime I could afford. Well, I'm just like a child with wild anticipation. I long to hear that all aboard. 7, that's the time we're leaving. 7, and I'll be waiting up for heaven, counting every mile of a railroad track that takes me back. And I never thought my heart could be so yearning. Why did I decide to roam? Hey, you know what? We should take a sentimental journey, just a sentimental journey home. We'll take a sentimental journey. Are you ready? Home. Let's take a sentimental journey. We could all take a wonderful trip. Hey, would you come with me right now on a sentimental journey? This will be fun. You know where our first stop is? I'm going to think back to the oldest song I ever knew, I ever played on the piano in my whole life. It goes back to 1913. 1913, can you imagine that? And if anybody in the room says, oh yeah, I remember the day this song first came out. I don't know if I believe you. 1913, it was performed on the vaudeville stage. They used to have something called the Vaudeville Theater. And there was a wonderful guy. He was just starting out in the business. His name is Al Jolson. I can't pay you another $64,000. In fact, let me see how much I have in my pocket. Wait a minute.
Not near it.
This is embarrassing. You know how much I have in my pocket for you? 25 cents. Yeah. Want to do a quiz question for 25? When I was a kid, we didn't call it 25 cents. We said, shave and a haircut.
2 bits.
2 bits. For 2 bits, the first song that Al Jolson sang on the vaudeville stage in the year 1913. And believe it or not, we still sing the song quite a lot. It goes, you made me love you. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it, but you made me love you. And all the time you knew it. I'm sure you really knew it. You made me happy sometimes. You made me glad. But there were times when you made me feel so sad. You made me sigh. Oh, I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to tell you. I want some love that's true. Yes, I do. Indeed, I do. Gimme, gimme, gimme what I cry for. You've got the brand of kisses I die for. And I feel one coming out right now. You know you made me love you. Yes, you know that you made me love you. Every day you make me love you. And you, and you, and even you in the back there too. That was our song from 1913. Now here's how we play our game. The next song on our trip down memory lane has to be from the 1920s. Then after that we do one from the 30s and from the 40s, and you get the idea. And pretty soon we'll be right back home here, safe and sound where we started. Here's our song from 1923 on our trip down memory lane. Well, we still had the vaudeville stage, you know, in 1923. And a guy came out on the stage of the Vaudeville Theater, and you know what his name was? Al
Jolson.
Jolson. It's still Al Jolson. We can't get rid of this guy, Al Jolson. I almost said Al Capone by mistake. It's the humidity is getting to me. And Al Jolson sang a little song for the kids in 1923. And he never thought it was going to last so long, over 100 years. And you can't sing this song without having a smile on your face. I'll prove it. Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Oh, jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those eyes? Yeah, you can clap. Gosh, oh, get up, how they get so lit up. Oh, gosh, oh, get up, how they get that size. Tell me, where did you get those? Don't wait for me, we'll never finish all these songs. That takes us through 1920. Guess what comes next? The 1930s. I got something from a movie in the 1930s, and I think you're going to like it. They had this guy in the 1930s. Some people say he's the best dancer in the whole world. Fred Astaire is his name. You just won another 2 bits. Fred Astaire. He was so good, wasn't he? When he would reach his hand out with that Ginger Rogers, oh, our hearts would go pit-a-pat. They could dance, huh? Well, they put him in a movie in 1936. Fred Astaire was 3 little words, but it was perfect for him. Shall we?
Dance.
Shall we dance? Yeah. And he sang a song in the movie, Shall We Dance? I never knew this till recently. We've heard every wonderful singer sing this song, but we have to thank Fred Astaire. He's the first guy that sang it in the movie. It goes like this. The way you wear your hat, the way you sip your tea, the memory of all that, no, they can't take that away from me. The way you smile just beats, the way we sing on key, the way you haunt my dreams. No, they can't take that away from me. No, they can't take that away from. No, they can't take that away from. They will not take that away from you and me and me and you. And congratulations, everybody. We finally made it to the 1940s. We're almost home. The 1940s, Duke Ellington. We mentioned him a little bit before. He wrote wonderful instrumental songs. And then that singing group, they came out before the Platters. The Platters were the 50s. These guys were the 40s. A great singing group called the Ink Spots. And they listened to some of the songs that Duke Ellington was playing, but they didn't have any words. So the Ink Spots said, enough is enough. Let's put some words to the songs. We were listening. This is the instrumental version. If I can make my voice sound like a trumpet. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. I don't make a good trumpet, do I? And you know the words, yeah. When the Ink Spots finally put some words to it, we got this. Missed the Saturday dance. I heard they crowded the floor. I couldn't bear it without you. I don't get around much anymore. I thought I'd visit the club. I got as far as the door. Ask me about you. Don't get around much anymore. So, darling, I guess my mind is more at ease. Nevertheless, why stir up memories? I've been invited on dates. I might have gone, but what for? It's awfully different without you. Don't get around much anymore. It's awfully different without you. Don't get around much anymore. Yeah, they don't even let me leave the house anymore. We're up to the 1950s, everybody. I thought we'd never get here. Some people say the best songs in the whole world are songs from the 1950s. And I got one for you right now to prove it. Talk about the singing group, the Ink Spots. They had a singing group in the 50s called the Platters, the Wonderful Platters. And I got a song from the Platters. The first song they had a hit with. 1955 on the hit parade, #1. Only you can make this world seem right. Only you can make the darkness bright. Only you and you alone can thrill me like you do and fill my heart with love. Only you, only you can make this change in me. Only you are my destiny. And when I hold your hand, I understand the magic that you do. Something got stuck in my neck. You're my dream come true, my one and only you. The Wonderful Platters. You're my dream come true, my one and only you. 1955. You know, they had other beautiful songs after that, not the least of which was Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. We'll come back to that if time permits. How long do I have you for today? I need you for 2 weeks, okay? They'll bring our dinner in here. Well, we made it to the 1960s almost. They had a guy, well, I shouldn't say they had a guy, because we still have him. He's alive and kicking. He just turned 90 years old. He lasted longer than all the great singers, lasted longer than Frank, and he lasted longer than Dean Martin and Sammy Davis. The whole Rat Pack he outlived. Did you know his name? The kids love him too. Tony? You know, pretty close. That's another good guess. Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett just turned 90 years old. I was at a party, I gotta tell you this, you'll get a kick. I was at a party yesterday, day before yesterday, and somebody said, we're gonna ask you a $64,000 question, Brad, so put your thinker cap on. So I had to answer a question, I was all nervous. They said, what was Tony Bennett's big first hit? And I said, oh, that's an easy one. Get ready to pay me the money. That's the song that goes, I left my heart in Sentimental. And guess what? That was the wrong answer. I didn't get the money. Because they said Tony Bennett's first big hit, the song that made him famous, was way back in the year 1951. And nobody even knew Tony Bennett before that, 1951, and he sang a song, it stayed on the hit parade for over 1 year. Oh, I hope everybody knows it after this big build-up I gave it. This was Tony Bennett's first hit that made him famous all around the world. It goes, because of you, there's a song in my heart. Did you know that one? We know it? Oh, that was a close one. Because of you, my romance had its start. We should sing a little of it. Because of you, the sun will shine. The moon and stars will say you're mine. Forever and never to part. I only live for your love and your kiss. It's paradise to be near you like this. Because of you, my life is now worthwhile, and I can smile because of you. Yes, we can smile because of Tony Bennett. And of course, it was a few years later, the year was 1962, and he sang what became his signature song, his most famous song in the whole wide world, called I Left My Heart in Stanford. You know, Tony Bennett wasn't the first guy they wanted to give that song to. They gave it to a guy named Tennessee Ernie Ford. You've heard of him? Yeah. Yeah, Tennessee Ernie Ford. And he looked over the music and he said, I left my heart in what? He said, forget it. This song will never be a hit. I'm not singing this, Tennessee Ernie Ford. And he said, you know what you should do? Give it to Tony Bennett. That guy will sing anything. So they did. They gave it to Tony Bennett. He sang the heck out of it, didn't he? If you go out to San Francisco this very day, out by the bay, the San Francisco Bay, down by the water, they just put up a giant, a 6-foot statue. You want to guess who it is? Tony Bennett. He's going to be there looking over the water and looking over San Francisco and protecting everybody for all the rest of time. Thank you, Tony Bennett. 90 years old and still going strong. I left my heart in San Francisco, high on a hill. It calls to me to be where lids of cable cars climb halfway to the stars. The morning fog may chill the air. I don't care, my love waits there in San Francisco, above the blue and windy sea. When I come home to you, San Francisco, your golden sun will shine for me, just like we got the sun coming out. Oh, that sun is gonna shine for you and me and me and you. And you know where Tony Bennett has his best, biggest show when he's not on TV? He's out in Las Vegas. And he sings for 2 hours. They say he's got the best show in all of Vegas. And at the very end of it, he sings, I left my heart in San Francisco, and boy, does he belt out the ending. He goes, that golden sun will shine for me. What? Could we try it together? Would you do it with me? We'll pretend we're out in Vegas. Let's not. And when you hit, you know how they do it in Vegas. When you hit the last note, we all go, me. You got to try to hold that note for 2 hours, okay? Hey, give it a try. What do you got to lose? 1, 2, 3. That golden sun will shine for me. That sun is gonna shine for you and me. And that's our trip down memory lane. Oh my goodness, we made it. We made it back here safe and sound, right where we started. 1913, we sang an Al Jolson song, and then we wound up with Tony Bennett, who's still alive and kicking, and we still love him, don't we? I don't mind telling you, after all those songs, I'm out of breath right now. Is anybody else out of breath? No, just me on you.
How old is
must
Tony
be
Bennett?
90 years old now, my dear. Yeah. Yeah, well, we're on our way there. Let me wait. I got to get my breath. Hang on for a second. Does anybody in the room have any oxygen I could borrow for a second? Well, okay, you know what I'm going to do then? I'm going to play a beautiful, slow, and tender love song. And that's how we get our breath back. And today I picked a beautiful song by a guy named Elvis Presley. Could I sing an Elvis song, man? I was looking up in one of those books about Elvis Presley, and do you know he was in almost 40 movies over the course of his lifetime? And one thing you could always count on, at the end of the movie, he always got to marry the girl, you know? Every movie, boom, he got hitched. If he married all those girls in real life, he'd be in big trouble, wouldn't he? My favorite movie of all the Elvis movies was called Blue Hawaii.
What?
And Blue Hawaii, my dear. He fell in love with a girl. Oh, that's a shock. He fell in love with a girl, and of course they have some customs down there. They have some traditions in Hawaii. You can't just ask for her hand in marriage. It's not that easy. First you got to go down to the gift shop. You got to buy a present for her. Then you got to get down on your bended knee like this. Then you got to sing her a song. Oh, brother. And then after you do all that, then you can ask her to marry. If I had to do all those things when I'd still be a bachelor right now. I couldn't remember all those things. But Elvis did. He went to the gift shop and he bought, you know what he bought? he bought a little music box, just a teeny little thing, with a little handle on the side, and when he cranked it up, it went. I'm falling in love with you. So Elvis is all excited. He's got his gift. He's got the music box. He runs back to the girl's house. He gets down on his bended knee. Let me see if I can, like I used to be able to do. And then he sings her the most wonderful song before he proposes. And we still love this song. To this very day, one of the most beautiful of all the Elvis, from the movie Blue Hawaii. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Isn't it beautiful, Elvis? And take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. No, I can't help falling in love with you. Oh, I love it when everybody knows the words. His name was Elvis Presley. He sang wonderful songs. Every once in a while, Elvis would sing a sad song. And you know, when anybody else sang a sad song, sometimes it would put a tear right in our eye. But not Elvis. He could sing a sad song, and we'd still be smiling. Something about the look on Elvis's face and the way he could curl his lip up. He always sang, even the sad songs we love so much. I'll give you an example. He sang, are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? Does your memory stray to a bright summer day when I kissed you and called you sweetheart? Do the chairs in your parlor seem empty and bare? Do you gaze at the doorstep and picture me there? Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? Well, I don't know who we could sing a song by after Elvis, but, oh, I got an idea. I know somebody you might like a lot. You ever hear of a guy named Perry Como? Who said Perry Mason? I know, I make that mistake all the time. Perry Como was his name. He had the longest running show of any, even longer than Dean Martin's 11-year show. Perry Como started back in the 1940s, and he always put the songs on his TV show that he wanted to be hits. Songs like 1968. He sang this for the whole world, and we've always loved it. Try to remember the kind of September when life was slow and oh so mellow. Try to remember the kind of September when grass was green and grain was yellow. Try to remember the kind of September when you were a tender and a callow fellow. Oh, try to remember, and if you remember, then follow your heart. His name was Perry Como. I almost said Perry Mason too. I know, don't think that. And to end up our beautiful, tender love songs, this will be the last slow song we do for a little while. Last time I came over, I did a few too many slow songs. You know how it is when you do too many slow songs? I can always tell I've done too many because some of the girls in the back, I hear them go. they start snoring, yeah. So here's the last of our beautiful tender love songs. We spoke about the Wonderful Platters. 1955, their first hit of all time. Only you can make this world seem right. Then they had many, many hits after that. And maybe the most of all the wonderful songs they did was a song called Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. I think we're good for 2 verses. They asked me how I knew my true love was true. Oh, I of course replied, something here inside, it cannot be denied. The beautiful songs of the Platters, and they said someday you'll find that all who love are blind. Oh, when your heart's on fire, you must realize smoke gets in your eyes. Could we do the last part all together, real loud? Smoke gets in your eyes. Smoke gets in your Thank you for singing with me and sharing some wonderful memories. Gee, this is kind of fun today. Are you having fun with me, everybody? Oh, I'm so glad because nobody's getting their money back. Boy, do I got a treat for you. There were 2 guys I forgot about on our trip down memory lane, and I want to mention them right now. There were country and western singers. Should I mention them one? Yeah, okay, one at a time. The first guy from the 1960s, his name is Roger Miller. Now, I know some people know the name Roger Miller, and some people don't remember him. But he had this one song. I'll tell you how he got the song. He was down in Kentucky, and he was on an old road in Kentucky. He was in a pickup truck, his old pickup. He was down in Kentucky, sweetie. And he was in his pickup truck, and he went up to a... He was in Kentucky. You let me know anytime you want me to repeat it. Or you could sit here if you want. He was on an old road in Kentucky in his old pickup. Apparently everything's old down in Kentucky. And he came up to an old barn. And there was a sign on this barn. It was a big sign. It took up the side of the whole barn. And you know what it said? It said, trailers for sale or rent. Trailers for sale or rent. And Roger Miller kept driving in his old pickup truck about a half a mile further down the road. Then he pulled over to the side of the road and he said, call me crazy, but I think I have an idea for a song. And he sang the wonderful song that goes, trailer for sale or rent, loans to let 50 cents. No phone, no food, no pets. Ain't got no cigarettes, about 2 hours of push and pull. Buys a 8 by 12 Corvette room. Well, I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road. Just a king of the road, king of the road. His name was Roger Miller. And the next guy I want to mention that we forgot to mention before, wonderful famous country singer, Hank Williams, the wonderful Hank Williams. Yeah. Hank Williams sang and he wrote songs for 50 years. And in that whole time, Hank Williams, I don't think he's doing any new shows right now. But you know, in all the 50 years, he never won any awards. He never got an award. Usually they give you your star on the boulevard, or you get a little statue or something at the Grammys. He never got anything until just recently. And you know what they gave him? They gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award. And that means everything that you've done, your whole body of work, all the songs are wonderful. And when he went up to get his award, they played his most famous song of all. Everybody was smiling and singing, and it goes, hey, good looking, why something up with me. Well, that was pretty good, but I think we should try it one more time. Hey, good looking everybody, what you got cooking? Oh, how's about cooking something up with me? 'Cause I got a hot rod for and a $2 bill. Oh, a little place right over the hill. This soda popping and dancing is free. So if you want to have fun, come along with me and sing, hey, good looking, what you got cooking? Oh, how's about cooking something up with me? I'm going to play my piano one time for you now. How's about cooking something up? How's about cooking something up? How's about cooking something up with me? And it goes, hey, good looking. Watch it there. Can you see my little kick I did at the end? You like that? That's why they don't let anyone sit there anymore. Hey, good looking, what you got cooking over on the stove? Hank Williams, wasn't he wonderful? I want to try a song that I've never played before, ever in public. I'm nervous. Can I try it? It first came out in 1950. It was sung by a girl, a lovely lady. Her name was Patty.
And what?
Patty Page, sweetie. Patty Page. And I never thought that I could sing a Patty Page song, and now that's why I'm getting brave now. Patty Page. She did songs like How Much Is That? And then she did Old Cape Cod. Oh, so many beautiful songs. Well, she had a record company. You know, all these stars, they got a record company and the agent and all that stuff. And the record company and the agent told Patty Page back in November of 1950 that they found the perfect song for her. And they sent her the music and they wanted her to sing it. And she looked over the song and she said, that's the worst song I've ever heard in my whole life. She said, please don't make me sing it. And they said, oh, come on, Patty, sing the song. So she sang the song. And the name of the song, November 1950, that they put on the record and they sent it to 1,000 radio stations all over the country, is called Boogie-Woogie Santa. True story. You've never heard it. You know why? Because nobody's ever heard it. Nobody wanted to play it. It's got to be about the silliest song on God's green earth. And none of the disc jockeys at the radio stations would play Boogie-Woogie Santa. But then the funniest thing happened. One of these stations out in the Midwest, they looked at those 45s used to have two songs, you know, one on side A and one on side B. So one guy turned over Boogie-Woogie Santa, oh brother, and saw the song on the other side, and he said, what is this? It's called Tennessee Waltz. And he put the song Tennessee Waltz on, and he played it for all the people in Radio Land, and then another radio station played it, and another radio station played it, and before you know it, everybody was listening to the song Tennessee Waltz, wasn't it? Yeah. What do you think? I got it right here. The wonderful Tennessee Waltz. I was dancing with my darling to the Tennessee Waltz when a friend I had to see. I introduced her to my loved one, and while they were dancing, my friend stole my sweetheart from me. I remember the night and the Tennessee Waltz. Now I know just how much I have lost. Oh, I lost my little darling the night they were playing the beautiful Tennessee Waltz. The beautiful Tennessee Waltz. And after we finish Tennessee Waltz, I'd like to do my own special rendition of Boogie-Woogie Santa. Probably a bad idea, huh? The beautiful Tennessee Waltz. Tennessee Waltz. That's a lot better than Boogie-Woogie Santa. True story. Boogie-Woogie Santa never made it. You can tell all your friends at dinner tonight. Hey, you know what time? What do we got next? Let's see. Oh, boy. I didn't even see this coming. You know, when I first came over here about 5 years ago, I was told by all the wonderful folks on the staff, they said, Brad, we only have one rule over here at Brightview, Concord River. One rule, you got to play a country and western song real loud every time you come over. I said, how come? They said, well, it's the only chance we all get to yell out, yee-haw. So for almost 5 years now, our tradition is to play a country and western song so everybody can yell out, yee-haw. I don't think today should be any different. Are you in a good mood? Yep. Are you ready? Oh, I love the beat. Just direct me to the saloon and give me a whiskey, huh? We're ready. Before we sing this song, I think we should all practice one big loud yee-haw all together. Yeehaw. 1, 2, 3. Yee-haw! Oh, she'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Yee-haw! She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Yee-haw! She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain. And we'll all go out to meet her. And we'll all go out to... Don't forget to say, yee-haw! We'll all go out to meet her when she comes. Yee-haw! Yes, we'll all go out to meet her. We'll all go out to meet her. We'll all go out to meet her when she comes. Yee-haw! We should have done this song first. This is great. Hey, you know what? Now it's time for marching. You go left, right, and you don't even have to get up. It's left, right, left, and then we sing our marching song. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. How I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching. Okay, now it's your turn, ready? When the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching. Left, right, left. How I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching. Here's the big finale. I want to be in that number. Everybody. When the saints go marching. Yeah. My goodness, you got the best yee-haw of all. Go say that again. Yee-haw! Wow. I'm going to bring you everywhere I go. That's the best. Hey, you know we live in the best country in the whole wide world, don't we? The United States of America. America, yeah. And I try to find a song every time I come over so we can have a dedication to the best country in the world. God could have put us anywhere, you know? And he plunked us right here in the best country of all. You're not kidding, sweetie. We'll save that for later. I don't want everybody to know. So today I have a song that I hope you'll enjoy. It's a beautiful song by a fella named Lee Greenwood. And he wrote the song many years ago, and it's become quite popular. Everybody loves the song that Lee Greenwood wrote and sang. It's called God Bless the USA. And I don't think we've done this one for a while. I hope you enjoy it. I hope I don't make any mistakes. It goes like this, and we dedicate this to the wonderful, the best country in the whole world, the United States of America, USA. It goes like this. If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for in my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I would thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, and across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, from New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget those who died, who gave that right to me. Then I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. No, there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless you. Yes. Hey, that's a beauty. We should keep that one around for a lot longer, huh? My goodness. Do you like the Red Sox, everybody? You like the Red Sox? We were talking about the Red Sox yesterday. Take me out to the football game. Well, Fenway Park isn't far from here, you know. And in the 7th inning, when the Red Sox are playing at home here in Fenway Park, they got a special song they play by a guy named Neil Diamond. Thanks. I can't finish any sentences today. I need your help. His name is Neil Diamond, and they sing a special song. They go, "Sweet Caroline," and then everybody goes, what? Bum, bum, bum. Are you in a good mood? Are you in a bump, bump, bump mood?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I got the song, Neil Diamond, "Sweet Caroline." Can you believe? You know what? Neil Diamond just turned 76 years old. And you know what he's doing? He's not taking it easy. Not at all. He just started a world tour last spring. He hasn't even been home yet. He's going all over the world singing again. He sings songs like this. He sings beautiful. Watch, sweetie. It goes, this is so you can warm up now. And everybody can yell real loud and say, "Sweet Caroline," right? Bum, bum, bum. Good times never seem so good. So good, so good, so good. Oh, I've been inclined, bum, 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 to believe they never would. One more time. Sweet Caroline, bum, bum, bum. Good times never seem so good. So good, so good. Yes, I've been inclined, ba, 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 to believe they never would. Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba. Oh, beautiful. That's short. That's short. I just wanted to hear you go, ba, ba, ba. You did good. Try it all together. Ba, ba, ba. Let's go to Fenway Park. That's perfect. Neil Diamond, 76 years old. He just started a world tour. Oh my goodness. I got to tell you, he may be one of our favorite entertainers of all time. Just wonderful, wonderful entertainer. He had a movie called The Jazz Singer.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very nice movie. It was a remake of an old movie from the 1920s. In fact, the first talkie movie, 1927. And he had a remake of it. And he sang a beautiful song called "Hello Again, Hello." Hello again, hello. You'll know as soon as I start it. Hello again, hello. Just called to say hello. I couldn't sleep at all tonight, and I know it's late, but I couldn't wait. Hello, my friends, hello. Just called to let you know I think about you every night when I'm here alone and you're there at home. Hello. Maybe it's been crazy, maybe I'm to blame, but I put my heart above my head. We've been through it all and you love me just the same. And when you're not there, I just need to hear. Hello, my friends, hello. It's good to need you so. It's good to love you like I do, and to feel this way when I hear you say hello. Hello, my friends, hello. It's good to meet you so. It's good to want you like I do, and to feel this way when I hear you say hello. Hello. From me to you, my friends, I love you. Hello. Hello back, yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I love you too. Thank you so much. You know, this is so much fun. Thank you, my friends. My name is Brad. I live in a town far, far away you probably never heard of. It's called Billerica, Massachusetts. It takes me about 7 minutes to come over here. That's why we get to have parties all the time. Well, it's not only because of that. It's because of wonderful people here on the staff, like Maria and Jessica, and my new friend April, and all the wonderful people on the staff. And not only that, our little party today is not just going to be for us in this room, because our friend Jerry came along too, with all his camera equipment from BATV right here in Billerica. And we're going to be on TV. How does that sound, everybody? How about a big round of applause for the staff and to Jerry and everybody for putting up with all our silliness for all the years and having all this fun. In fact, you know the best way we could rejoice and make the party even better? It's time for a polka. Let's do the best polka in the whole world. It's called Roll Out the Barrel. It's Roll Out the Barrel. And you know something? The kids are doing this song all over again. The kids love it. They think it just came out last week. Oh, but they changed it. They don't clap. When they hear the song Roll Out the Barrel, they do this. At the weddings, at the birthday party, they go, roll out the barrel. So you got your choice. You can clap like this. Or if you want to be cool like the younger generation, why don't you try a couple of these? In fact, if you can do this for 2 minutes, do you think you can do it? I think I can get you out of exercise class for the rest of the week. It's called Roll Out the Barrel. All you got to do is have a little fun and clap your hands or do a couple of these and sing. Roll out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun. Just like today. Roll out the barrel. We've got the blues on the run. Oh, sing. We'll sing out a song of good cheer. Oh, it's time to roll out the barrel. Yes, the gang's all here. That's us. We make a pretty good gang, don't we? Don't Oh, I just fell in love with your pretty baby. Look at this, everybody's clapping and singing. You know how you get everybody clapping in the whole building? Oh, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Oh, if you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Hey, you're pretty happy, aren't you? Huh? Oh, you know what she just said to me? That's a good idea. She said, could we go yee-haw one more time before it's over? So let's go if you're happy and you know it, yell yee-haw. If you're happy and you know it, say yee-haw. Yee-haw. If you're happy and you know it, yell yee-haw. Yee-haw. If you're happy and you know it, your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, say yee-haw. Yee-haw. Because happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. So let's sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here. Every time we sing, happy days are here. Okay, here's the big one. Happy days are here again. Hey, that was pretty happy. Oh my goodness. Thank you, sweetie. Did you like the way I jumped up at the end like that too? Never again. I just twisted something. Is the doctor in today? Oh my luck. Well, thank you. Happy days, happy nights, happy times, happy Sunday. This was pretty happy. You know what I want to do? I want to look at the clock and see how many more songs we can still sing together before we run out of time. Oh no, I have bad news. I have bad news. You know what? I only have enough time left to sing about 80 or 90 more songs. And then April calls the police. Yeah. So So I have a couple of beautiful, beautiful tender songs. Now, some people, I think you might have other adventures or other events that you have to go along to right now. If you do, I understand completely. I just want you to stay as long as you can stay. And but I have a few more songs, because if I play a couple of extra songs, I'm thinking Jessica might pay me overtime for this. So, all I can do is hope. I just read a book about a guy from the 1920s. He was a very famous songwriter. I'm going to say it loud so you'll hear it. Irving Berlin. Did you hear that, sweetie?
Ernie Ford?
Ernie Ford, no. He was good too. I haven't read his book yet. Irving Berlin was his name. He wrote beautiful songs. Some of them were happy, some of them were sad. Want to hear a sad one? Get your crying towels ready. A song by the wonderful Irving Berlin. Well, we don't want the accordion. That way. Okay, you'll hear in a second, I think. Okay, now we're ready. Irving Berlin, 1925. How can I sing a sad song when you have me so happy? Gone is the romance that was so divine. 'Tis broken and cannot be mended. You must go your way, and I must go mine. And now that our love dreams have ended. And the song goes, what'll I do when you are far away and I am blue? What'll I do? What'll I do when I am wondering who's kissing you? What'll I do? What'll I do with just a photograph to tell my troubles to? When I'm alone with only dreams of you that won't come true, what'll I do? alone with only dreams of you that won't come true, what'll I do? When I'm alone with only dreams of you that won't come true, what'll I do? What'll I do? What'll I do? And there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Everybody was in tears, and he ruined the whole party. His name was Irving Berlin, 1925. What'll I do? And then the very next year, 1926, Irving Berlin was in a very happy mood because he was getting married. He was getting married, and his wife came down the stairs. She looked like $1 million. She was the $64,000 question. And he'd been up all night, Irving Berlin, and he handed her a piece of paper, a song he had written. And you can tell by this paper, this is the original paper from 1926. And he sang a beautiful song to her. He said, we're going to be married, and in 10 minutes we'll be up on the altar. I will be your husband. You will be my wife. It's the happiest day of my entire life. And he sang her a song that was especially written only for his wife and nobody else, called I'll Be Loving You Always. I'll be loving you always, with a love that's true, always. And when the things you plan, they need a helping hand, yes, I will understand. Always, always. Days may not be fair. Always. That's when I'll be there. Always. Not for just an hour, not for just a day, and not for just a year, but always. You know, it might be the most beautiful song in the whole world. Yes, I will understand always, always. Days may not be fair, always. That's when I'll be there, always. And not for just an hour, and not for just a day, not for just a year, but let's sing it together, the last part. Not for just an hour, and not for just a day, not for just a year. You know, your voices sound beautiful today. Beautiful. I closed my eyes for 2 seconds. I thought I was in the room with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. You sound wonderful. But
Where did you get a
always. That was beautiful. Thank you, everybody.
Let's go.
My name is Brad. I'll be loving you.
Thank you.
Did you enjoy yourself, everybody? Oh, this is wonderful. Oh, did you really? I was wonderful. Did you ever hear of a country and western couple? They called themselves Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. They went everywhere together. For 50 years they were married. They went everywhere together. And when it was time to leave, they always sang the same perfect song. It's a perfect way to say goodbye to all your friends. I think we all remember it too. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3. Happy trails to you until we meet again. It won't be long. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Hey, we'll sing a song and bring all that sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Big finish. Trails to you till we meet again. Guess what I forgot to do? We didn't do the hokey pokey. Now to get your right hand ready. everybody, everybody. You put your right hand in, you put your right hand, everybody. Your right hand in, and then you shake it all about. To the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Left hand, put your left hand in, and pull your other left hand. Your left hand in, and then you shake it all around. To the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You know how you end the hokey pokey? You put your whole self. How can we do that if we're sitting down? Hey, you know where your waist is? Just bend at the waist. Your whole self, and you'll do that 10 times, and you don't have to do exercises for the rest of the week. You put your whole self in, and your whole self in, put your whole self in, and then you shake it all about. Do the hokey pokey, and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, everybody. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Nice job, nice job.
Don't let anybody kid you. We're not getting older, we're getting better. When am I coming back? I haven't even left yet. Oh, my dear, no, that's okay, sweetie. Oh, you're so wonderful. Oh, you don't have to get. Oh, that was so nice.
Nice job.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you for welcoming me. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, that was great. Thank you so much, everybody. Did you have a little bit of fun today? Oh, my goodness, I did too. There's nothing like coming over to see my friends. His name is Nat King Cole. He sang a beautiful song called I Love You for Sentimental Reasons. I hope that you believe me. I'm giving you my heart. Nat King Cole. That's why I love you. And you alone were meant for me. Please give your loving heart to me and say we'll never part. I think of you every morning. I dream of you every night. Darling, I'm never lonely whenever you're inside. That's why I love you for sentimental reasons. I hope that you believe me. I'm giving you my heart. That's why I love you for sentimental reasons. They had this guy, he was the host of The Tonight Show for 29 years. His name is Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson. And he got us through all the good times and all the bad times. We always knew at the end of the day, there would be Johnny to fix everything. And we'd listen to him at the end of the night. And then you know what happened? The funniest thing, 29 years went by. And Johnny Carson said, this is my last night. I'm retiring, he said. I'm retiring. I'm going on my boat. And Doc Severinsen and the orchestra sang, and they played Johnny Carson's favorite song of all time, and boy was he in tears. Johnny Carson's favorite song, might be our favorite song too. All the time. It goes, he's pretty old now. I'll be seated in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In a small cafe and the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees and the wishing well. Oh, I be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's bright and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you and you and you and you and thank you, everybody. I love you. My name is Bennett. This is the best place in the whole world. Brightview, Concord River. My thanks to Maria and to Jessica and to my new friend April. I'll be seeing you. Did you enjoy yourself, everybody? Thank you so much. I did too. Another special thanks to my good friend, my old pal, Jerry, on the BA TV camera. Could we give him a big round of applause? Because everything that we did today, we can't get away with anything. I think we got caught. We're going to be on television, and the whole town of Billerica will get a chance. Thank you for letting us. We always.
Wait a minute.
Yes, sweetie. What is it?
When are you going to do that?
Oh, it's going to be on the TV, right here. In fact, you know, maybe Jerry could hook it up right now. We could play it all over again, huh? Thanks, everybody.
Probably.
Be careful going back to your room. Have a little fun, okay? Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. This is another Fred Astaire song. Yes, you're lovely, with your smile so warm and your cheeks so soft. There is nothing for me but to love you, just the way you look tonight. With each word, your tenderness grows, tearing my fears apart. And that laugh, the one that wrinkles your nose, it touches my foolish heart. Never change. Keep that breathless charm. Don't you rearrange it, 'cause I love you just the way you look tonight. Just the way you look tonight. Ready for the big ending? We're going to say just the way you look tonight. That'll really be it. Then we'll really be done. Unless you come back for the midnight show. And when we hit the last word and we go, night, try to hold that note for 2 weeks for me. Just the way you look tonight. Just the way we look tonight.
Excellent.
Thank you, my friends. I love it. Enjoy the rest of the day. The sun is peeking through the clouds. I'll be back in a month or two, and we'll have some more fun.